Meeting of the Rockport Select Board to order for Wednesday, March 16th, 2016. This is the cumulation, it's not really a word, but we're going to go with it anyway, of our budget works. We only have a few items of business to conduct this evening, so all the rest of the stuff is going to be ignored that we usually do. What we're going to do is we're going to go straight to new business. The agenda is we will first take a consensus vote on the fiscal year 16-17 budget, which is for July 1, 2016 through June 30th, 2017. And I have a motion here, if Ken would read it.
I'll make the motion for discussion purposes. I move to approve by consensus vote the FY 16-17 budget with expenditures in the amount of $5,552,824, revenues in the amount of $1,788,826, resulting in a net budget of $3,763,998.
Second.
Okay. This is the municipal budget. It's only the municipal budget.
Right, and then,
Yep.
the only, well, to start the discussion, I guess, we've gone through over the last, yesterday and today with
Monday
going
and
through the
today.
numbers and working on things and coming up with this final number. As we did that, we highlighted several items in yellow in the budget, and I don't know whether the board wants to go back and revisit any of those at this point, or is everybody satisfied?
I think with the number that we've come out with, I am satisfied at this point. I would really like to have the budget committee take the next look at this and report back to us as to how they see this, whether they see it as effective for the town or irresponsible.
Well, for the purposes of people following along at home,
Yep.
we just gave big raw numbers, and what we ought to do is just present for part of the, so there's a context here. We should present the increase over last year's budget, which is largely what a lot of people are concerned with, so long as so long as the value of their house stays the same and their piece of the pie stays the same. A little bit different this year, but we are, and if I have this correct, we are $387,084 over a flatline budget from last year, of which 300,000 of that is our commitment to pushing forward the ability to have townwide fiber. So, so 87. This budget represents $87,000 over last year in mostly non-special things. Although inside of the budget there are some special things that are happening that are one time only, and then we add on top of that, because of the commitment of the board, 300. So that's a contextual view of where the new money is going, if you will.
And there is some question, actually, as to what that increase is, depending on, there's some question as to what the actual budget number was for last year, because we have a couple of different sources there.
So roughly,
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
could be,
If I can clarify, I
Yeah.
think the only question is the LD1 number, correct?
No, this
No,
is final
no.
budget number.
Okay.
Yeah.
so it could be as much as 500 over, which means it could be
Yes.
as much as 203, aside from the fiber. Thank
No, I
you.
should also point out that this year we have $99,000 in there for recommended purchase of property out in West Rockport for the renovation and expansion of the fire station, which
So
is
two
a
big- two
special.
big
So
things,
there's
yeah.
two big one, actually, in round numbers, 400,000 in special work that we're
one-time
recommending,
expenses,
yeah.
so to speak.
Which makes
Yep.
me less firm about my belief in these numbers, but we got to go with what
Yeah.
we've got. We've been working on this. We've worked on this for, what,
Not-
9
9
hours
hours
this
and
week?
15, well, 9 hours and a half.
9.5 hours in the last 3 days. We put a lot of time into it in making a lot of difficult decisions. We were lucky, well, I say lucky in not the best of ways, that when Rick presented us with a budget, he made some very hard decisions and got it down much lower And I think that that's a good thing because it made us look at a lot of lines that we might not have scrutinized as closely as we did. But through that process, I think, well, especially Ken, but I know everybody here also looked very hard at the revenue lines. So I think we made some very still conservative, but some useful revenue increases that is offsetting some of this. Because in my mind, it doesn't make any sense that we're asking for $300,000 for fiber and $99,000 for a specific piece of property, and we're still at this number that's this low. So part of how this works out is also working that revenue line, which I think we did a much better job. I mean, this shows the years that all of us have done this, and Owen catching up and asking good questions, that we were able to find some things and increase that revenue number. I think that makes a significant difference. Well, I know it does. We talked about numbers earlier. It makes a significant difference that helps us get to a number that I think is realistic, but still worries me.
And my 2 cents on the cuts that you made and then the decisions we made about those cuts for everyone watching at home, that the feel that I got was health and safety of the community at no point was compromised in any of the decisions, budgetary decisions that we made through this process. I feel anyway.
Okay. Anyone else wish to comment? Speechify? Nope. Well, we have the motion on the table. I'll read it again, just so we are all familiar. I move to approve, or can move to approve, by consensus vote, the FY 16-17 budget with expenditures in the amount of $5,552,824, revenues in the amount of $1,788,826, resulting in a net budget of $3,763,998. And it was seconded, and we have discussed it, so I will call for the vote. All in favor? It is unanimous.
Wow.
The next item of business that we need to conduct is to look at the 3 warrant articles that the Select Board is placing on the secret ballot. We have those before us. On Monday, we discussed the first 2, and my reading of my notes and what is written here is that the first warrant, shall the town accept the recommendation of Midco Solid Waste Corporation, parent MCSWC, and parent, for handling the disposition of the solid waste after termination of the current contract with the Penobscot Energy Recovery Corporation, otherwise known as PERC, on March 31st, 2018. And I read that 3 or 4 times today, and I do see one
I see the same
Yes.
one I do, municipal.
municipal solid waste.
Can I also get rid of the in front of solid waste? Disposition of solid waste.
Of municipal solid.
Actually, I wanted to ask
municipal solid.
disposition of the town's solid waste.
That's what municipal means.
That's what municipal means.
Right, but there's a lot of municipalities. Should we
We're
be
only
clear?
voting for our one
We only control ours.
municipality.
Okay.
Because everybody else has to do this too.
Yep. It's state law. Every municipality has to deal with it.
Disposition of
Municipal.
municipal solid waste after the termination of.
So change the word "the" to municipal. and
Okay.
Yep. Okay. We already had voted on it.
Right.
So I'm just, verifying that we are good with that wording now,
Okay.
because I will report that back to you.
Did you get that, Linda?
Okay. The second one, which we also voted on, was to place the citizens' petition, quote, "to see if the town will vote that any reconstruction, expansion, improvement, renovation, or replacement of the Rockport Public Library be limited to its current location at 1 Lime Rock Street," end of quote. It was presented to us as correctly certified, notarized, and we are putting it on the ballot. I'm just verifying. Yes.
I have a quick question for Linda. Remind me if there is an indication on the ballot that this is a citizens petition initiative as opposed to anything else. Is there? There's nothing that.
And what about the fact that they want it to be a binding referendum as compared to in the past when we've had non-binding referendums? Is there any way that we notate that? I don't understand how that part of the process works, but I know they specifically said they wanted it to be binding.
I think the way they worded it is.
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
It's binding for the term of the, until it's changed by a vote of the people.
Current
Okay.
location.
If it is voted down, it has no effect. If it is voted approval, even if it's by one vote,
Then it's until we
then
vote
it's
something
until,
else.
until some other vote takes place that changes it. So, and that had been verified with the attorney. The third one, this is the one we did not discuss the other night. It deals with 647 Rockland Street. And the current wording that we have for that is, shall the town vote to approve the purchase of the property at 647 Rockland Street for $99,000 to facilitate the expansion of the West Rockport Fire Station? And that's an end of quote.
So if those of you watching this, if that's the first time you've heard anything about this, this is a piece of property right next to the fire station.
Yes,
The West Rockport Fire
the
Station.
West Rockport.
Right, and would give us significant flexibility.
As it stands, they cannot expand at all. The fire truck, the new fire truck that's in there has about 3 inches of space on both sides and none behind it.
And just as a matter of point, I did talk to the fire chief, and he said he would put together like a one sheet on all of these bits and pieces of information of how that property will be useful and what's some of the issues with the current property, like with Bill Lane and other information. So he's gonna put that together for us, and I think he's gonna send it to you. I told him it would probably be best to send it to you. And then you can disseminate it to us, and then we'll have that information at our fingertips, and we can figure out other ways to get it out to the community about why this is an important piece of property for the fire department.
The only question I have on the wording is, to facilitate, I wonder if we want to put to facilitate the possible expansion of the West Rockport Fire Station. The only reason I say that is I don't want people to think they're voting on expanding the West Rockport Fire Station when all we're doing is asking for approval to purchase the land. I don't know, I just throw that out as
sounds reasonable.
discussion.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay,
I-
to facilitate the possible expansion?
Yep. Remember that,
Right.
we know what we know, and we
Yeah.
have to do as good a job at presenting this as possible. What do we know?
Okay,
Anything?
so, does somebody want to make a motion?
I will move that we place the following article on the warrant for the June election. Quote, shall the town vote to approve the purchase of the property at 647 Rockland Street for $99,000 and no cents to facilitate the possible expansion of the West Rockport Fire Station?
Second.
Moved and seconded.
There's no one quote.
End
No,
quote.
there wasn't end quote on the sheet. Yes, it's now on there.
Okay.
And you have time, minor modifications to the language isn't at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
But it's good to catch it when we catch it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We will vote the final wording of this at our April 11th Select Board meeting. Excuse me. So, any further discussion on this item?
I think it's a wonderful purchase for the town at a very reasonable price. It greatly expands the possibility of that station and enhances the safety of the residents in that part of town.
Okay. Excuse me. All right, then I will,
I know, I thought that was kind of rude there for a second.
okay. Then no further discussion. I'll call for the vote. All in favor of this warrant article? That is good. We are done with that. Our last item is we need to vote to place articles on a public hearing and set that date, that hearing date for Monday, April 11th, 2016, 7 PM here at the Rockport Opera House. So I don't know if anybody wants to make that motion. I move to,
I move to place, do I need to specify the articles or just
no,
articles?
just articles.
Certain articles.
I move to place articles on a public hearing and set that hearing date for Monday, April 11th, 2016 at 7:00 PM at the Rockport Opera House.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. The warrant articles by that time will be closer to what
Gelled.
they're supposed to be. But we do have to hold that hearing before we actually take the vote to place them on the warrant. Before that, the planning board is holding their public hearing on April 6th here at 5:30 PM. So they will be chiming in before we have to take our vote. At that same time, we will be making recommendations on the warrant articles. We do have the one question about whether or not we can make recommendations on the one Lime Rock Street. The town manager,
I sent a letter to the attorney, so.
yeah, the town manager is checking to see on that.
Right.
We're checking with
But,
our
yeah,
town
our
attorney.
attorney has to give us the final.
Yes.
Okay, what else do we need to do?
Well, we need to
Did we
take.
vote on
We
that?
didn't take the vote. Oh. It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Very good. We have no other business before us tonight.
Move to adjourn.
Second?
You in a hurry?
Yes.
Shall we have a discussion of this? It's been moved and seconded. Okay. All in favor? Even Owen wants to adjourn. Okay. Thank you very much.